Rajgad, literally meaning the ruling fort, is a hill fort situated in Pune district of Maharashtra. Formerly known as Murumdev, the fort was the capital of the Maratha Empire under the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj for almost 26 years, after which the capital was moved to the Rajgad Fort. Treasures discovered from an adjacent fort called Torna were used to completely build and fortify this Rajgad Fort. Rajgad Trek has multiple routes as there are many entrances to this fort. 3 trails are very famous and easily accessible. One is via Gunjavane village, which is called via Pali Darwaja. The second route is Pali village route, which is via Pali Darwaja. And third is from Torna Fort to Rajgad via Nedhe village, which is via Alu Darwaja. Remembered our trek to this fort 12 years ago. We had climbed the fort via Chor Darwaja. Trek for this route starts from Gunjavane village. Most trekkers use this route as it is a gradual ascent but takes 3.5 hours to reach the Chor Darwaja. Today we decided to trek via Pali village. Rajgad Fort stands at a height of more than 4,500 feet above the sea level. The diameter of the base of the fort was about 40 kilometers, which made it difficult to lay siege on it, which added to its strategic value. Trek to the Rajgad Fort offers to witness the wildlife, beauty of the Sahyadris, as well as the beauty of the fort.
Right in front you can see that is a Torna fort. People often climb the Torna fort and along the ridge they come all the way to this Rajgad fort.
Rajgad boasts of the highest number of days stayed by Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj on any fort. The fort has stood witness to many significant historic events, including the birth of his son Rajaram I, death of Queen Saibai, his return from Agra, the burial of Afzal Khan's head in the Maha Darwaza walls of Balekilla, to name a few. Rajgad Fort was also one of the 12 forts that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj kept when he signed the Treaty of Purandar in 1665 with the Mughal general Jai Singh I, leader of the Mughal forces. Under this treaty, 23 forts were handed over to the Mughals.
अतिशय थंडगार आणि सुंदर स्वच्छ पाणी आहे. गडावरून येणारं पाण्याचा नैसर्गिक स्रोत आहे. जागेचं नाव नियर पाली दरवाजा. मी काय करतो?
The Rajgad Fort holds a special importance in the timeline of Maratha history. This fort, too, like other Maratha fortresses, used the landscape of its natural surroundings to its strategic advantage to ward off encroachments and discourage attacks. The fort is adorned by several doors including the Gunjavane Darwaja, Alu Darwaja and Pali Darwaja. These darwazas are nothing but entrances to the Rajgad Fort, and these elaborate doorways also served as guards to the fortress. The Alu Darwaja was used in the olden times to connect the Rajgad Fort to the Torna Fort, but it now lies in ruins, while the Pali Darwaja, which is the main door of Rajgad Fort, is still intact. There is also a secret back door that leads to the fort called the Chor Darwaja, a steep, narrow and curved staircase that leads to it. This was built as a secret escape at the time of crisis. Similar to the Chor Darwaja, there is another secret doorway called the Nedhe Darwaja that extends from the Suvela Machi. On trekking further from Pali Darwaja, you reach the Padmavati Temple. There is also a Padmavati lake. You can camp here or stay inside the temple. There are some old cannons, Saibai's tomb, Darugola Kothar, which is also called the Arms and Weapons Storehouse, Sadar, a place for meeting of important people, a private chamber under the Sadar, and a water cistern that contains potable water. Rajgad had a strategic importance due to its splendid view of surrounding forts like Torna, Lingana, Raigad, Sinhagad, Purandar, Vajragad, Rohida, Raireshwar, Pratapgad, few ghats like Varanda Ghat, Madhe Ghat, Gopya Ghat, Visapur, Tunga, Tikona and many other mountain ranges. At the end of Padmavati Machi, a trail going towards the left directly takes you to the Suvela Machi. The trail passes through thick shrubs and bushes. After a 15-minute walk on the Suvela Machi, you come across a small Hanuman Temple on your left. It has a small Hanuman idol surrounded by stones. As you continue on the same trail, you see a tiny hidden door that leads to an underground passage. It has a hole at the end that was used as an entry and exit point to the Met, the security checkpoints. On the Suvela Machi, there is a naturally created hole. This is called a Nedhe in Marathi, which means hole. This hole is so big that you can spot it from the plateau as well as the distant places like Sinhagad Fort. You can climb up the rock to the hole for some marvelous views. While walking on the double fortified walls of the Suvela Machi, you will see Burujatil Maruti. Proceed to the end, from where you get tremendous views of Bhatghar Dam and the valley below. There are long watch points called machis on the fort, which is constructed like a snake. They were built using double fortified walls. Suvela Machi, where we are walking right now, is very long and has a double fortified wall. The architecture of the machi is an interesting thing to witness. Suvela Machi has a secret deep trench along the double fortified wall, which offered safety during enemy attacks. The construction of this trench reminds us of the architectural excellence and warfare tactics that Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj had. As you move ahead on the Suvela Machi, you come across a huge elephant-like structure created on a huge rock, which is also called the Hathi Prastar. At the base of this elephant-like rock is a secret door called Gupt Darwaja. This doorway is called the Nedhe Darwaja. Suvela Machi is situated on the eastern part of the fort. This machi narrows down in width as one proceeds farther along its length. At the start of the machi, there is a hill called Duba. At the start of Suvela Machi, you come across steps that lead you to Chilkhati Buruj. Chilkhat means shield and Buruj means bastion. Chilkhati Buruj means the bastion that can bear cannon firings. After exploring the Suvela Machi, we started our climb towards the Balekilla. The trail to the Balekilla is steep. There are ropes and iron rods for trekkers' safety to negotiate a few rock patches. Make sure you take complete support of the ropes and iron rods while climbing. The trail to the Balekilla on the fort climbs to 500 feet. Some patches are very steep and there are no proper steps to negotiate. After around 25 minutes of climb just before the Balekilla, you come across a Maha Darwaja which has a height of 6 meters.
छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के जय। हर हर महादेव, हर हर महादेव।
After Maha Darwaja, you see a beautiful half-moon shaped lake called Chandrakor Pond. The name is because of its shape, the shape of a half moon. The fort contains palaces, water tanks with cisterns, temples, gardens, Sadar, Bajarpeth and other monuments that remain from its glory days for present-day trekkers, historians and visitors to draw an inference of life during those days. Rajgad fortification consists of 3 machis. Padmavati Machi, Suvela Machi and Sanjeevani Machi define the architectural creativity during that time. From Balekilla, you can see Torna, Pratapgarh, Tung, Lingana, Sinhgarh and Visapur Fort. You also get enchanting views of the Sahyadris, Mahabaleshwar Range and Raireshwar Plateau. You should visit this fort at least in 3 different seasons. Rajgad Fortress has been speaking of the grandeur of our country for several years. It is symbolic of the victories and battles fought by the Maratha army and stands to glorify the feats of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. For all those who admire history, Rajgad Fort is a must visit.